without your commitment, without your support, and we are so incredibly grateful for everything that you do to make this event Michigan's premier convening. You know, since 2010, we have welcomed over 115 nationally recognized thought leaders to this stage. And that's just one of the reasons why over 1,700 of Michigan's top leaders, all of you, come to this event every year. And this event is unique in the nation. I know because my counterparts across the nation come here every year to see what this is all about. And year after year, they go home to wherever they came from and said, we have got to do something like this Mackinac Policy Conference that they have in an island in Michigan. But time after time, they have failed. This is truly unique, a statewide gathering of thought leaders to talk about this state and the future of the state and really solve problems. And it's unique because we are sequestered on an island. This is a planes, trains, and automobile kind of event. We are conveniently inconvenient for everyone in Michigan. You're away from your office phone. You're away from your conference room. You are stuck on this island. Basically, we have you hostage, and we're really happy about that. But that is one of the reasons why this conference is unique. And obviously, the Grand Hotel makes this incredibly special. One of the most historic hotels in the country. And I tell you, the Grand Hotel, Dan Musser and the 700 team members here at the Grand Hotel are an extension of our family, and we are an extension of their family. And we could not do this very unique event without the incredible partnership and friendship of Dan Musser and the Grand Hotel. And every year, this hotel just gets better and better. More rooms, more amenities, and we just love it here. Now, of course, our sponsors make all of this possible. And we have 61 sponsors this year, 61, more than we've ever had. And each one of our sponsors plays an incredibly important role in making this conference the special event that it is. And of course, we are pleased to welcome back as our premier diamond level sponsor, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Blue Cross Blue Shield does so much for us at the Detroit Regional Chamber, so much for Michigan, and we are so proud to have them back as our diamond sponsor. Please, everyone, thank our premier sponsor, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. And this year, Consumers Energy is our new Ruby level sponsor. And I tell you, it has been a thrill to work with Patti and her team. Patti is our conference chair, and she and her team have been so engaged and have been so committed to ensuring that this conference is absolutely perfect. She's been fun to work with, her team's been awesome to work with, and you're going to see Patti's distinctive signature across all elements of this conference throughout the rest of the week. Our platinum sponsors include Dow, DTE, Huntington Bank, the MEDC, the Michigan Health and Hospital Association, PNC Bank, Quicken Loans, Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, UPS, and the W.K. Kellogg Foundation. Please thank our Ruby and our Platinum sponsors. So as I said, we have 1,700 of leaders here today. Thank you for being part of this. But we have a conversation that's just not going to take place on this island in the rooms that you're going to be in over the next few days. This is a conversation for the entire state. We have 150 state and national media working this conference. But you have a role too. Your role is to use your Twitter machines, your Face Chat, whatever social media platform you and the young kids are using today. We want you to use that fire up that social media machine and share what you learned here. What did you agree with? What did you disagree with? This is not a conversation just for those of us who have the opportunity to come to the island. This is a conversation for the entire state. Now, as you know, we have worked really hard over the last several years to make this event accessible. You have your role doing the social media thing. The media has their role. And the other thing that we've been able to do is working with Detroit Public Television now for 9 years. We have taken the veil off of this conference. DPTV provides a live stream, but it's also broadcast live. It's also on their website. It's also on our website. And of course, our friend Christy McDonald is in the parlor anchoring DPT's coverage, interviewing our elected officials, our corporate leaders, and our philanthropic leaders. So we have lots of ways for anyone, not just in the state, but anyone in the country, to view this conference. In fact, last year alone, just the live stream of the gubernatorial debate was well over 100,000 viewers. So what happens on this island definitely does not stay on this island. That's a warning for all of you who are going to be at the Pink Pony later today. Now, we are going to reprise our Friday programming that was so popular over the last couple of years called Morning View Mackinac Uncensored. As you prepare to depart the hotel on Friday, join us for coffee and conversation, 15-minute punchy debates, televised live through DPTV. Have your coffee, have your luggage, meet us in the parlor as you get ready to depart Friday morning. It's a fun time. You'll really enjoy it. Now, some housekeeping. This is very important. Download the app. No, I'm serious. Download the app. The Kroger Conference app is hugely important to the functioning of this conference, and this is where you will find speaker bios. It's where you're going to find schedule updates. What room do you need to be in? It's even going to help you find your next cocktail. So I know you're going to download the Kroger Conference app. And if you didn't bring a teenager with you to the island to handle your tech needs, we've got you covered. Don't worry, don't panic. Visit the Chamber's help desk in the Garden Theater, where we will help you beat your technology into submission. So please download the conference app. Now, once you do that, you're not done yet. Please turn on push notifications. Push notifications will help alert you if there's a schedule change, a room change, or more importantly, free ice cream someplace. And we promise, honest to God, we promise we will not try to sell you a timeshare in Petoskey. You are safe, and after you leave, after you get on the ferry on Friday, you can delete the app. We're not going to spam you with stuff. Now, we know we run a tight schedule, and I know you're on a tight schedule while you're here at the conference. And breaks are few and far between, so you often create your own breaks. That's perfectly fine. We completely get it. But two things. First of all, as a friendly reminder, if you depart the session, either during the session or before a break, please do so quietly. Because as you're departing the room, we have speakers coming up on the stage, and we want to be respectful of them. But we have a heck of an incentive for you, which is new, to keep you in the room for an entire session block. So we're proud to announce Shinola check-in times. From time to time, an announcement will be made in the theater, right here, and there will be a code on the theater wall. It'll be like Shinola bingo. You will then use your conference app that you've already downloaded and turned on push notifications because you do what you're told, right? You will then check in through the app, and at the end of that session, we'll be awarding a Shinola luxury gift. And these are great gifts. These are Shinola watches, these are Shinola briefcases, and other leather goods. So we're going to do that 4 times throughout the conference, so that is an incentive to keep you here. Now, this conference, as you know, look around, is designed for C-suite leaders, but we're very proud to continue our programming for young emerging leaders. So this year, we have 27 future leaders on the island through our partners, Bank of America, and our ongoing partnership with Harvard Business School. This group of young leaders participate in the conference along with all of you. We have special programming for them, and 9 of these leaders will be going to Harvard Business School's Young American Leaders program later on this year that the Detroit Regional Chamber is proud to spearhead in our region. Now, we're also doing something else new this year. You know, we have focused on talent and education several times throughout this conference over the years. This year's going to be a little bit different. Thursday, we're going to have an entire block of education programming. We're going to describe Michigan's challenge in painfully real, data-driven detail. We're going to show that change is possible, and we're going to be talking about Michigan's pathway forward through Launch Michigan. But while we need to address this critical issue, the one thing we don't want to do as we address our education challenge here in Michigan is point fingers, especially at students and teachers. My friend Tanya Allen says that our systems may be broken, but our students and our teachers are not. So we have the opportunity to send some love from the island, from all of you, to Michigan's hardworking teachers. We want to fund 500 teacher-developed projects in Michigan's most challenged school districts. Using the Donors Choose platform, 500 projects have been identified and prioritized based on urgency that are in Michigan's most needed school districts. And the good news is, to fund these 500 projects, we are well on our way. Thanks to the board members of the Detroit Regional Chamber and business leaders from Michigan, we are starting this conference with over $200,000 towards this goal. To fund the 500 projects, we need to get to about $300,000. And that's where you all come in. It's up to you to help us cross the finish line. Now, there are 3 ways to give if you're so inclined. One is through the Mackinac Policy Conference website. The second is through, say it with me, the Kroger Conference app, thank you. And finally, in the gallery, one of our staff members can help you make a donation through one of our own iPads. All the funds go directly to the Donors Choose platform, which is a highly respected crowdsourcing platform, and all the projects go to Michigan's low-income districts. Every dollar counts. Every contribution over $5,000 will be recognized on the big screen like you just saw, but every contribution of any dollar amount will be recognized in some form or fashion during this conference and beyond. So I please hope you have the opportunity to take a minute and be generous for this. Civility. You know, we all seem to agree that no matter how you define civility, it continues to be lacking in our public discourse and in too many elements of our society today. We have been focused on this issue of civility since 2017 at this conference, and this year is going to be no exception. Our view is that civility is a critical ingredient for compromise. And compromise is the only way a nation of over 330 million people, who all have 330 different strong opinions, can get anything done. And we're committed to advancing this ethos of civility here in Michigan. So earlier today, we had one of 2 sessions hosted by my friends Nolan Finley and Stephen Henderson that stemmed from the 2019 Detroit Policy Conference, where we have taken 40 individuals, paired them with someone with a disparate political or viewpoint, and we're having curated conversations between these couples. We're videotaping these conversations, and we're having coaching so we can all learn from their experience the art of disagreeing without being disagreeable. And also later today, I will be joining my friends Debbie Dingle and Fred Upton on this stage to talk about our own experiences in our years in Washington, D.C., and how the lack of civility in Washington has changed over the years and how it's preventing things from getting done, and what Debbie and Fred are doing about it. So, speaking of things that we've lost, we lost several incredible leaders over the last year. Most special to us at this conference was our friend, the Honorable John Dingell. On your chairs, you will have this year's Detroiter cover produced by our friends at Skidmore Studio. It is dedicated to John, and clearly it has a very thought-provoking image of John. Now, this is obviously an image of John, but if you look closely, it's John's words. The words that make up this piece of art from Skidmore Studio is actually John's farewell letter to America that was published in the Washington Post. You know, John had a way of making an impact on many lives, including when he held court out here on the porch. So we thank Skidmore Studios for this incredible piece of art for our friend John Dingell, and making this year's Detroiter cover especially special. And while we have lost many leaders this year that we were close to, including John, we are here to celebrate on this island at this event one Michigan, and that we love Michigan no matter what our politics are, no matter what part of the state we hail from. We love Michigan. And if John were here today, he'd remind us all that he loved us all and that he loved Michigan. Enjoy the conference, everyone.
Your love lifted me higher than I've ever been lifted before. That's why your love keeps on lifting me higher, higher and higher. I said your love keeps on lifting me higher and higher.
What do I love about Michigan? Visiting the Governor Warner Mansion in downtown Farmington.
I totally love eating Michigan blueberries on a gorgeous summer day.
What I love about Michigan is having the opportunity to represent my home.
I love Michigan because of its food.
What I love most about Michigan are the sports.
I love watching the sunset over Lake Michigan from Charlevoix with family and friends.
It's amazing to watch the sunrise and the city come alive on an early Saturday morning in the city of Detroit.
What I love about Michigan is the resilient people, my hometown of Flint.
I love Michigan ball and going to a football game after tailgating.
What I love about Michigan is strolling down Woodward Avenue on Thanksgiving Day, seeing all the smiling faces watching America's Thanksgiving Day parade.
I love Michigan because of the people. They're humble, they're hardworking.
The work ethic, the dedication, the grit.
I love the Four Seasons.
What I love about Michigan is that we change society forever by putting the world on wheels, and we're doing it again by leading in next generation mobility.
I love sitting around a campfire while camping in the Upper Peninsula with a blanket of stars above me.
What's not to love about the state of Michigan?
Please welcome President and Chief Executive Officer of Consumers Energy and CMS Energy and Chair of the 2019 Mackinac Policy Conference, Patti, Poppe.
And you know what I love about Michigan? The Mackinac Policy Conference. Anybody else? Yeah, come on, I know you love it too. Y'all got here. It is a policy conference, and so we're going to hear from and see many of our policymakers, including our brand new governor, Gretchen Whitmer, will be here on the stage in just a couple minutes, as well as some national voices. We're excited to have Stacey Abrams on this stage, to have John Kasich on the stage, you know, Donna Brazile, Harold Ford, many important national voices. Of course, it wouldn't be a Mackinac Policy Conference without our mayor, so Mayor Duggan will also be joining us on this stage. You know, I'm looking forward to hearing from our state leaders especially. Our federal legislators, it's nice. I know they feel good being home amongst family and friends. We've got your backs. Our federal delegation is stronger than ever, so we're going to hear from our U.S. senators and many of our congressmen and women. And our PAC reception tomorrow is definitely going to be a crowd pleaser. We're going to hear from our quadrant leaders. You know, all 4 of them are relatively new in their leadership positions, starting just January. And so it'll be interesting to hear what's on their mind. They've been busy, and they've already got some things across the finish line, and we're excited about that. And it really brings to the point the theme of this conference, One Michigan. You know, while the rest of the world continues to be more divided than ever, we want to show that here in Michigan we are united, that together, not in spite of our differences, but because of them, we are strong and we can make extraordinary things happen together. And so we designed the conference around 3 pillars: Prepare Michigan around education, Grow Michigan around entrepreneurship and business leadership, and then Love Michigan, perhaps my personal favorite, about sustainability and really how business leaders can be a force for good. And so, you know, when we talk about education and the Prepare Michigan pillar, Sandy mentioned we've got a great lineup planned, but I want to make it real for us. You know, when I think about each of our children in our state, every one of them is a little seed, and it's on all of us, to make sure that the soil conditions, the nutrients are there so that each and every one of them can reach their full potential and grow. And unfortunately, some of what we need to talk about this week, the data are not compelling. In fact, our soil conditions are not in the proper form to give our children their maximum potential. We're falling rearward while other states are moving forward. And the reality is we're not in a competition with ourselves here in Michigan. We're in a global competition for progress, for access to talent, access to capital. We want to create the environment where every one of our young people can create something extraordinary here and fulfill their potential. So we're going to have a great conversation about that, and I'm particularly inspired by the leadership of Launch Michigan, who will be on this stage to talk about what we can do, and that it is possible for us to change that ecosystem and create the environment for our children to succeed. But we did want to make sure everyone heard loud and clear this message about our teachers, that we love our Michigan teachers, and that we do not blame them. Thank you. Amen. So this Donors Choose fundraiser, listen, this is not a silver bullet. We're not trying to fix the problem with this Donors Choose fundraiser, but what we are trying to do is tell our teachers that they matter, that we've got their back. While they're busy doing what they do, we're going to put our loving arms around them and make sure this ecosystem gets fixed. I actually went on the Donors Choose website to see what kind of projects are out there. And when I went online, I found the first day, pulled up the site, looked up at the top of the list, Mrs. Shelton, actually from Jackson, Michigan, my hometown. And Mrs. Shelton was trying to raise $241 for laundry detergent and dryer sheets. Mrs. Shelton teaches pre-K in the Northwest School District's pre-K program. Before her little tiny seedlings can be ready to learn, Mrs. Shelton has to make up for challenges they have at home, get their basic hygiene needs met, wash their clothes so that they're not isolated during reading time, before she can even do what she was trained to do, which was to educate those young readers. Mrs. Shelton holds all of our little seeds in her hands. She needs to know that we hold her and all the other Michigan teachers in our hands, that no one can do everything. But promise me, you will do something. You can do something. Make a contribution to the Donors Choose website before you leave this island. It is a simple gesture that can mean so much as Mrs. Shelton and all the teachers in Michigan do their darndest to do what they were trained to do, and that's to educate our young people. Thank you. We want Mrs. Sheldon and all the other students across the state to grow and take from little seedlings to our future business leaders, our future policymakers, our future educators, and our future entrepreneurs. We know that small business and entrepreneurs create more jobs than any other segment in the nation. And we want Michigan's ecosystem for growing new businesses to be ripe. We want to be the place where someone comes if they want to start a business. Like Allison Malik, who's going to be on this stage. I can't wait for you to meet her. She started May Mobility. She started her business in Michigan. She could have started that business anywhere. She picked Michigan, and we're going to get to hear from her about how that's going, what's working, and maybe what isn't. What we know is the skeptics often say, "I'll believe it when I see it." An entrepreneur, a leader says, "I'm going to believe it before I see it. And I'm going to help others see." Ari Weinswig from Zingerman's Deli is going to be on this stage to talk about beliefs. And I don't know if you know Ari, but I'm sure you know Zingerman's. It's an awesome deli in Ann Arbor. But not just that. He could have taken that brand and franchised it globally. It's that good if you haven't been there. It's awesome. But he didn't. He doubled down. He tripled down. He quadrupled down on Michigan. And he has grown 13 businesses out of that one deli. And there's actually one of his line cooks at the Roadhouse had an idea for a business. So the line cook pitched to the management team that he wanted to start an organic farm and an entertainment space in a barn in Dexter. The management team said yes. 8 years later, Kornman Farms is born. If you haven't held an event there, if you haven't attended an event there, you got to get to Dexter. It's awesome. But that's all born out of a vision that someone who could see something before others believed it. And that's the power of business. Because we know a business like that can then grow and demonstrate. And we know Ari and all of you in the house love Michigan. We can demonstrate our love for Michigan. And the Consumers Energy team would like to invite you to our Love Michigan celebration. I don't know if you noticed, there's a great big tent out there. And I say this, it's both figuratively and literally very large. So everyone is invited. We want everyone under the tent. We're going to celebrate all things Michigan, Michigan food, drink. I hear Faygo cocktails are on the menu. We'll see it when we get there. And a great Michigan band, the Dan Rafferty Band, is going to be there to celebrate all things Michigan tonight. Please make sure you come out 8 o'clock. You know, often business is painted with a broad brush that says that all business cares about is the bottom line. And I would suggest my company, and many others like ours, believes that there's more to business than the bottom line. We believe in a triple bottom line, serving people, the planet, and prosperity, that business can be and is a force for good. And when we put our efforts together, there's nothing that we can't achieve. And I'm going to be joined on this stage by other business leaders who feel the same. We've got Jim Fitterling, the CEO of Dow, is going to be with us. And rumor has it, he's pretty sure he's got a plan to fix the damn roads with recycled plastic. That's a twofer, as far as I'm concerned. That'd be a good thing. We also have Alicia Bowler-Davis, who's here with us. You may remember she was head of global operations for General Motors. And now she is actually heading Amazon's global fulfillment operations. Now that's a big job. And we're lucky they're good at logistics because they got her here. So, 2-day prime. Alicia Bowler-Davis is with us, my buddy. And she's going to be on the stage talking about what Amazon's commitment to the planet is and how our demand for all the products that they deliver can come together to have good solutions for the planet and still get our stuff on time. I'm also going to be joined by Christina Keller, who is the CEO of Cascade Engineering, second generation, extraordinary company out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, long-standing commitment to a triple bottom line and especially environmental stewardship. And Christina also is going to talk about some of the nationally recognized programs, Paths to Prosperity, that Cascade Engineering has innovated and created for wraparound services to create pathways from welfare and prison to work, so people can end the cycle of poverty and have a pathway to prosperity for generations to come. You're not going to want to miss hearing from those business leaders because business is a force for good. There's one other very important business leader I want you to meet today, a friend of mine. You may know that the conference chair this year will become the board chair of the regional chamber next year. So as I was moving into the board chair position for the regional chamber, I wanted to make sure that whoever was following me to run this conference would continue to make the Detroit Regional Chamber a force for good, and this conference a force for good. And so please join me in thanking and congratulating Ryan Maybach, the president of Barton Mallow, as next year's conference chair. Best kept secret. We did it a day early so that no one could scoop us. Good job, Ryan. Yeah, thank you for being with us. You know, I do think the feel-good moment of this conference is going to be tomorrow afternoon when we have our legacy panel. We're going to honor 3 business leaders that we lost last year. Richard DeVos, Art Van Elslander, and John Barfield. All extraordinary business leaders, entrepreneurs, who created businesses that were wildly successful and then parlayed their business success into community impact. We get to hear from their children about how their legacy lives on. You know, they say one generation plants the trees and the next generation will enjoy the shade. I hope that this week for all of you is an opportunity to grow your circles, become a force. Know that when we come together, especially when we disagree, that extraordinary things can happen. Let's just make this commitment to one another. We're going to plant some trees this week. Please join me in saying yes to that. You know, when the governor was running, I loved it when I would hear her talk about the Mackinac Bridge. And it was the bridge that was not to be. For decades, people dreamed of the bridge, but we couldn't quite make it happen. And then the right combination of leaders came together. Business leaders, policymakers, our engineers, labor, craftsmen came together and built this beautiful bridge. And that bridge, the Mighty Mac, should serve as a continual memory and recognition of the strength of bringing Michigan together and what's possible when we stand together.